Hey guys, good morning. Happy to see you again. It's been a while, but I could never stop going back to streaming. So here we go again. Let me know if everything is fine because probably could have gotten a bit rusty since it's been a while. But hopefully it's all fine, and let's get started coding something cool. I'm gonna switch the screen. Meanwhile, I'm gonna send you the URL of what is the thing I'm trying to do today, and maybe we could try a little bit of the vibe coding because I was really impressed lately at how cool that is actually, even though it could take my job pretty much. Hey. Доброго ранку, Hyvää huomenta, buenos dias, bom dia. I have to learn the Indian option too. Let me know how it should be the transcription of that, I guess. All right. So let's get started. I'm gonna switch the screen and let's try to code this thing. We're gonna try to do. So this is one of the websites that a lot of my subscribers asked me. And by the way, you can just ask me in the comments about some websites that you think are pretty cool and that you want to see recreated. Sometimes I do look into the code of the website. Sometimes I just trying to recreate it with my own knowledge. Either way, we could just see how some cool techniques could be applied to create some good visuals. Like this, for example, I think is a pretty cool merge of the genius idea and like the perfect implementation. And although the idea could be a simple one, it's still nice to see at how you could play with it. What else you could do with this idea? Like this one is pretty cool, right? You see this the lighting. You can see this thing it could move pretty cool in a pretty cool way, right? It's like almost sucking all the information from below. You have this feeling, right? I guess that's what they were trying to achieve. Like everything goes into one point. Pretty cool, right? I think if you click or something, yeah, there's a yellow version, which inverts the colors and makes the bloom work into the like reddish color, which is so damn cool, right? Because the bloom is usually when you blur the picture and the white spreads around some really bright objects. But then this is what happens when the dark objects are getting bloom. Although it's probably just inverted version, but still, when you get the dark bloom, it looks pretty cool to me. It's like this reddish thing. Pretty cool. All right. Anyway, I think you also think that is cool, hopefully. So let's get started recreating this thing. There's a really nice, brilliant idea behind this. The same idea that people are using to create really cool cars, I guess, and really cool things around the world, which is the Bezier curves. And we're gonna look into the Bezier curves today. But first, let's create some folder with some template. I'm gonna be using WebGPU today, because I found that when you try to wipe code, meaning the AI creates the code for you, it is pretty easy to create shaders right now in webgl. But then once you go into the TSL, like the new meta language from the three.js, it's not as good, because there's not much code to learn from. And it's so recent. So I don't know how often they update the data on the cursor, on the Claude. Anyway, so it's pretty bad at this. So I guess while I'm doing those streams in TSL, I'm actually trying to teach some AIs to do this TSL. I'm helping them to learn, and then eventually they're gonna do this job for me. But let's see. I'm gonna call this, what is this, spiral? How do you call this? How do you even call this shape? I don't know. Okay, let's call it. It's not close to spiral even, but for some reason this word is just sounds like something like this. I guess I don't know. Anyway, let's get into the business. And spiral, I called it. So I'm gonna install all the depths. I'm trying the bun lately because it seems to be faster and pretty much same result. And then I'm gonna run the cursor. And I'm not sure the cursor will help to build like this kind of thing, because there's a lot of attention to detail, and I found out that it's pretty good at not the detail thing, but making something roughly of what you want it to be. Okay, let's get back to business. All right, and then I'm gonna go to the app.js. I'm gonna switch to the web GPU right away. And for this, I only need to, what is this? This is the YouTube running in the background, right? I'm gonna close it, and I'm gonna arrange the windows in a second. Web GPU. And yeah, WebPU. How about WebPU? Okay, this is black because there's obviously no shader material in WebGPU. Yeah, so it does just falls back to something, and also render async. And no shader material, so I'm gonna just do this material new 3 mesh normal material, right? So yeah, this is pretty much the same thing. And now we shouldn't be having any errors, and now I can arrange the windows, I think, right? So I can pop up this window. How do you do this? Yeah, right here, pop up chat. Separate window, and then the magic button. Maybe it works, not this time. Okay. I'm just waiting for the moment until AI can take control of my desktop, because I'm not that good apparently with it. So I have this software which is trying to arrange the windows, but it's order dependent from the windows. So meanwhile, if you just change the order of the windows in which you open it, you're pretty much doomed to this manual labor. All right, anyway, we're almost there. Almost there. Now, why are you trying to just open the damn thing? All right. All right. Yeah, we actually have a new chat here, and even with the agent mode, and I hope we will do like we will have time to wipe code something different, even, because I honestly don't believe we can wipe code this, or maybe we can try to wipe code it right after we actually coded it. Anyway, so for now, not wipe coding, just the usual manual coding, but with the help of cursor anyway. So what I want to do first, like I actually, like, this whole thing is created from one geometry, and if you like put the cursor at some point, you can notice that the geometry is actually not changing. So this is like a shape that they have, and they just animate the surface of this shape. And yeah, you get this feeling of something sucking up, but it is just something moving on the surface of the shape. And while I was trying to investigate, because I'm always curious how these cool things created, and it could have been just a boring like GLB file, right? They just created it in Blender, it looks fine, and that's it. But it's not. It's actually a procedural shape, which is why I decided to show you this, because this would be a nice place to see how the Bezier curves could come into this. And not just the usual Bezier curves, because like if you go to the Bezier curves, what is a Bezier curve anyway, right? It is some usually two-dimensional, a little bit less often three-dimensional curves. Like there are like a couple of points in two-dimensional, three-dimensional space, and you connect them with some nice curve, which has the control points. And if you go into the Bezier curves, they usually have the control points, like this P1, P2 are the control points. So it's not just the straight line, but it's trying to go through the P1, never go in though, but trying to go through the P1, then to P2, and then ends up in P3. So P0 and P3 are actually the points it's coming through. It is not quite the case with our object here, because this object is first, well, three-dimensional, kind of, not kind of, it's actually a three-dimensional object, but where does it have the Bezier curves? Like this curve is actually the Bezier curve. But is it a two-dimensional curve? Because this curve is always flat, but in a sense that it's flat even in two-dimensional. Because the Bezier curve function, it usually takes like these two-dimensional points, like xy coordinates. Like this point has an xy coordinate, obviously. This point has xy coordinate. This has xy coordinate, and this one. And connects these basically 8 numbers, because 4 points, 2 numbers for each point, in a space. What we have here is basically one-dimensional Bezier curve. And let's look at how this thing actually looks like. I'm going to create a Desmos. I like when the things goes into the math dimension. So the Bezier curve function looks like this. It is x to the third power multiplied with a plus x to the second power multiplied with 1 minus x multiplied with b, and a, b, c, d will be our 4 points. Like a and d will be the end points, one-dimensional points. So this is scalar values, not two-dimensional. And then what's it? X multiplied by 1 minus x squared plus 1 minus x to the third and multiplied with d, and this one should be multiplied with c. So the hell, just close this sidebar. I want to see the whole function. This is how it looks like. So it's basically x cubed, and then it's exchanging with 1 minus x. So you can notice if you put the x equals 1 here, you're gonna just get a, because all the rest will be 0. And if you put x equals 0 here, everything to the left will be 0 except this one. So it's gonna be d. So now we can add the sliders for each of those points and create and see this like three-dimensional polynomial curve, which is basically a Bezier curve. So what it does when the x, which is the parameter of the Bezier curve, is changing between 0 and 1, it goes through the first through the point equals 1. So right now, if we zoom in, you could see that it actually goes through the point 1. Then the b, it just tells like what's going to be the next point it's trying to go through. Like it's now between minus 10 and 10. So it could go there or there. And then the c is the next point we're trying to go. You can see the change in the direction of the curve. And then the d is basically where it should intersect the point x equals 0. I mean, it probably maybe makes more sense to do it like this. D, C, B, A. I should have just inverted the x probably. So right now it goes through the point A1, and you can see that if I'm changing 1, it just changes where the curve intersects the vertical thing. So if the A equals 0.5, it basically goes through 0.5. B is basically pointing in which direction this curve would go. C is the like next point which it should go through, but this is all like scalar, remember? So it's a bit weird because I never really used the scalar Bezier curves really. And then the D is basically where it intersects the vertical of the x equals 1. Right? So if I just change something minus, it goes below. If I change to something great, it goes up. So now with this thing, I could actually create the profile of the object that I'm trying to achieve here. And what is this object going to be? So first of all, it should be like really whited at the bottom. And then it should get narrow down to the top. And all of this should happen between 0 and 1. So this means, I don't know, let's make it 50 and minus 50. I love how Desmos actually created these sliders, so usable for these kind of experiments. So I could, I don't know, make some great number for the A, so it goes really up, so almost flat, right? Goes far away flat. Then I could create something maybe smaller, but 30, 30. Minus 30. So it could go to some big value too. Then the C could be something small already, and D, let's make it 1. So it ends at the 1. So this is how the shape looks like. We only care about this part, right, between 0 and 1. So it's actually almost getting flat, but then it comes at some area here, like almost east here. And maybe if I change the C to some negative value, like these are not really changing much shape of the curve anymore. And yeah, where again we are? Yeah, so the curve would go down and then up, so it will create like this kind of shape, right? If you're imagining what it's trying to do, it's this kind of shape. So with these values we can actually regulate the shape that we can do. Now with this in mind, let's get back to the actually three.js and doing something three.js. Yeah, hello to Brazil, dobro ranku to Lviv, good morning Lebanon, Iran, India. Wow, we have some big geography today. So keeping these Bezier curves in mind, and I'm just actually wondering what's the mindset should be to use the Bezier curve, because I would use some combination of probably some simple math function like a smooth step or something to create these curves. But the guys at the and I'll be helpful. I'd be happy to tag the original creators of this animation, because all the credits goes to them again. I'm just merely like researching and learning from the amazing code they created. So yeah, I'm gonna remove this. We don't need shaders anymore. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, I wanted to create the actual shape, and we're gonna create it with parametric geometry, because three.js has a parametric geometry thing. I think we used it once or twice or even thrice at some point, and this parametric geometry is created in this way. Let's create a cylinder first, this parametric geometry. So I'm gonna this geometry equals this geometry equals that. So it's going to be parametric geometry, and instead of line, which is actually a function that is also inside three.js repository, because you can just import the client and use it in the three.js. Well, it's already trying to help me with something. I think the parameters here are u, v, and target. And u and v are between 0 and 1, obviously, and the target is a vector, three-dimensional vector that you should set. Yeah, vortex is yeah, it sounds pretty good. But I also thought the vortex should be something also like how's it, having a bit of a rotational distortion, but it's definitely looking closer like tornado, maybe some kind of tornado. I actually even asked ChatGPT like how you would call this, and it produced me like 10 different names, and I was like, okay, well, this shape has a lot of names. Now it's not too late. We are just getting started with the three.js stuff. All right, so how do you code the cylinder here? The x would be the math sine u multiplied with 2 pi's. The y would be cosine, and then the z would be just v. And then we just set target to x, y, z, and we should get a cylinder with like open-ended cylinder. Let's see. Don't get anything because like why? It's not three-parametric, it's just parametric geometry. Yeah, well, not quite cylinder because yeah, I messed up here. It should be u there and u there. Right. So we got the cylinder. I think also, yeah, like this. So we definitely see the shape. All right. So this is how you create cylinder with parametric. Well, obviously, you could now control these points and do something with them. First of all, I'm going to create the clad Bezier is going to be. I'm going to just take these parameters from it, basically, the ones that we created, like 40, 20, something like this. We can tweak them later on. And so it's going to be basically what I want, like this shape, the original shape, is actually kind of a cylinder, right? In itself, because it's like a super distorted cylinder, right? The bottom is flattened out. So I could actually use this code to create the cylinder, but what I want to change here, like this bit is actually correct, except the radius should be parametric. So I'm gonna const get radius. Okay, just the function get radius. And this function will just be from some parameter, like let's say t. And this one should return me the Bezier interpolation function. And I also want this Bezier, like the clean Bezier interpolation function Bezier. And this one should take like A, B, C, D, T. And it's going to return let 1 minus t is going to be 1t. And well, I think it's getting the idea of what I wanted to create. It's 1 minus t, then why it's 3 though, I don't know. Why it's trying to put 3s there, no idea. It seems to be correct. You always need to check the AI. So this is 1 minus t to the third, 1 minus t to the second t to the second, 1 minus t, and this seems correct. And then here I would basically take the Bezier from this t, except I'm going to use these values that I created, 40, 20, 2, 1, something of this sort. Right? And then what else? I'm going to get the radius here. So going to be get radius from v, because v will be the vertical parameterization, u is the radial parameterization, and v is the vertical one. And let's see what's going to happen. I should also multiply my radius here. Let's see. Okay, something is wrong. Computed radius is 1, none, zv, get radius, c. Yeah, I think I better return something here. Okay, do we have something? Yeah, we have something. Definitely have something. It doesn't look, well, it looks close from a mathematical perspective. It is really flattened out thin, but let's stretch it. Let's stretch this thin, and I want to kind of normalize it and stretch. So this value is between 0 and 1. So I'm gonna do this and then multiply it with something big. And now we're getting there, right? You could see. So we just really stretched the curve that we produced. And basically what you see here, like the profile of this curve that you see right here, is exactly this profile. I mean, you should tilt your head a little bit and see here, but this is the profile. And you see what this little curve here is what we see at the top. Because I stretched it, it's not as obvious, but you could see the curve is actually turning back here. And if I do it -2, it will be even more pronounced, I think. Yeah, I could see this thing because I actually had -2 in the Desmas there. So we could see how the curve is going on. And now I should play a little bit with the camera. So enable anti-alias, even if only me will be seeing it, but still. And let's also put the camera a little bit further. So maybe XYZ 30 or something like this. Yeah, so now we are far away. Now I have to maybe tilt shape a little, just so we'll be looking at it from the right direction. But all of this, remember, is just from this curve, and I just like this mindset that you have the curve that you have full control of with some control points, unintended, and then you could just use them to create whatever curve, whatever shape you want, actually. And in this case, we want this kind of shape. And I think I could also make it much more detailed, so it's more smooth. And plane X like this. Yeah, get in there. So maybe also not as far to put the camera on, maybe kind of like this. Could see where we're going. So this is what we basically see at the original website, kind of. And I can also control now this curve with these parameters. Maybe I could make it something like this, and then maybe like this. It's just nice to see that it's so fast and it's parametric, so we could use it. And I also want to see how the UVs are looking at this curve. And we basically have for free normals now, because I can see the mesh normal geometry. Or maybe we don't, actually. It might be calculated in a shader. And what I want to do here also, ambient light. I want to add light, and I want to convert this to physical material. Yeah, and then let's add lights. Let's make it, I don't know, blue. And let's maybe instead of what I have 40 there, let's add 60. So it covers the whole thing. Maybe let's stretch it a little more upwards. Well, then I should go for 70 to cover it up. And then maybe I'm just trying to, you know, create a nice composition out of this. So this is definitely not the original parameters, because I remember like roughly what was the numbers. This is not them, but I'm just trying to achieve the look and to show you how you can control this thing. So we are trying to recreate for anyone who just joined this page, but this time with TSL. All right. So it could have been just one function. I just wanted to separate the like classic Bezier from the actual parameters I'm using. All right. And this is what we have, pretty close if you ask me. And then what I want to do, I want to start using the mesh physical node material, and then this material color node will be the function. Always forget the syntax for these. There's a lot of too much braces for me. Yes, like this. And then never forget to run it immediately. And then let's just return back before, UV. So now we have the UVs here. Now what I want to do is multiply with, I don't know, 20, take the fract out of this. We're gonna start to see something cool now, right? Getting there, guys, we're getting there. But if you ask me, like, this look is so cool. Like, it's always so cool to see some structure in the thing that you created. Pretty cool. Next, what I want to do here, play a little with some shaders. So first of all, I'm gonna I think in the original one, they separated each row. Like right now, we could see those rows for the UVs, but they assigned a random. I also need the uniform play. They assigned the random value for each row because it rotates with a different speed. So let's do this, but in a TSL shader, because this is basically the shader we are writing here. How do we do this? So I'm gonna calculate row as the I also need the playhead. So playhead is going to be uniform 0, and then this playhead equals playhead. And in here, I want to update playhead. All right. Let's run now. Unexpected token return at where? Yeah, because I started coding but never finished. So let's roll. What's going to be the roll value here? So it's going to be UV Y. We're going to add playhead to this one. So it's always moving up, probably. We're going to multiply this whole thing with some big value. So we're going to multiply it with 20 probably or something. And I also should take the fract from the UV because this value would go over the 1. I want my UV to stay between 0 and 1. So we're taking fract from the UV plus playhead. This is value between 0 and 1. We're multiplying it with some big value just to get repetition again, the same thing that we have here. And then I probably just take floor from this and that's it. So again, with TSL, it gets complicated real fast, but let's see. And this should be okay, it's divide. And another, and it should assign a different values to each row. Like well, let's run now. Unexpected token. Yeah. What else is wrong? Floor is not defined. Okay. Actually put this template just to import everything, well, almost everything as it turns out. So now we could see some really cool animation. Now we could see that it does assign a different values to each row. It's just that those values are getting so big that we never really see them. So now I could generate some kind of random number from these. And from what I remember, we could just take a sign and do some random thing here. Like, where are we? Where's my shader? Yeah, I need to put some shader code here. So in here, random value is going to be how do you do this? Is so we're taking sign from row, multiply it with something big, and then we are multiplying it again with something big and taking fract from it. Like something some big value and take fract from it, and it's going to be like quasi random value, hopefully. Right. So now we're getting some random values from, and I wonder if some of those are negative, to be honest. Maybe I should take apps on this. Maybe I don't have apps. Yeah, starting to look pretty cool, right? And remember, it's just so simple. The values that we are playing with are so simple. The Bezier curve and parametric geometry, and here we are already getting some pretty cool feel. I probably want it to be a lot slower than it is, so we can all enjoy. Oh, no, now it's so damn satisfying, to be honest. I hope you feel that too. And then, well, I want to try the. I think I had this texture somewhere. Yeah, like the true share texture. And let's try to move it here. And it's called unnamed, which is not really helpful. I'm gonna call it true because it's true share. And pretty cool, right? Yeah, I feel this. I feel you, Sean. So, and while we are at it, let's just turn it the other way around so we can enjoy it going upwards too. And it is obviously just the playhead, so we could tie it to the scroll and etc. But what I wanted to do is to create a texture here. So let's my map. Okay, first thing we need to import the texture from to PNG, and then my map. Just in case I wanna add the repeating for this texture one by one. And also what I want to do here, I want to calculate some new set of UVs to put in here, because right now I only have these random values which are assigned to each row. But what I want to do, I want to create some random UVs actually. How do I do this? I'm going to create new UV parameter. New UV going to be UV to var, which basically copies the UV into the new UV. Now in this new UV, it's like, for now, it's obviously the same, but I wanted to multiply with the same values so we have same like rows kind of thing, right? I hope so. So UV will assign something like 5, because we have it 5 by 4. Maybe like this 20 then right away, and then UUVY add assign playhead. So now these new UVs should be moving. What's wrong with this? Yeah, I seen. Yeah, this is definitely not what I was trying to achieve. Let's output these new UVs to see what's it looking like. I mean, well, if you ask me, this is pretty cool. I don't know what it is yet, but it looks so damn cool. Yeah, I think I used TensorFlow once or twice, something with the face recognition and something with the object segmentation, something like this. Okay, this is pretty cool, but not quite what I was... I think maybe I should only multiply the x at some point, right? So I should only add the playhead to y, but I should also multiply the x. Right, UV x. Should probably be taken a fract UUV sine UUV fract. Yeah, so these new UVs are actually kind of what I maybe like this, because I don't need to repeat texture a lot radially, basically. More like I need to repeat it not in this way, but like this. This is where I need to repeat the texture, so it is assigned to the same rows. It's already pretty cool, right? You could like basically all of these renders that we're getting are some cool variations. And Y and X. So X is a radial repetition. Well, I think I need some kind of radial repetition anyway, because the texture would be stretched. So maybe at least like 3 times we should multiply it, because this is where the texture would be put. You see, like all of these squares would be the UVs for my whole texture. And the texture that I picked is a repeating image. So I could now do this basically texture by map new UVs. You're gonna see this. So maybe, yeah, it kind of works. I don't know if I need linear filter, by the way, probably causing this. No, not causing these glitches. Maybe more than that. These bugs. What's causing them? It's already pretty cool, right? You could see the true shake curve coming up there. I don't think I need a sRGB on this texture, probably, because it's black and white. Do I need, maybe the repetition is causing it? Why do I have this? It's probably something stupid. Maybe it's the fract causing it anyway. Yeah, I guess it was the fract. I don't really need to use it because I already have the repeat, so the texture will be repeating. So now it's already pretty cool because we put the texture on this thing. That's basically what's happening here. And if we just look closer in here, the texture, that there's another nice trick at this one. So if you go into the network, like this is one of the textures this is the texture that they're using. And well, on the first glance, it's just basically a random text, random images on top of it. But the most important thing in this texture is actually you could see the same text, like this kind of stretched, and then the same text this way stretched. And what this does essentially, even when the texture is being stretched so much, like at this spot, like behind the actual spiral, you would be able to see this text as a normal text. And when it just shrinks at the top of the vortex, at the top of the screen here, you would be then able to see this really stretched text, like this one. See, it's really overstretched. But when the texture is going to shrink, it would look just as normal text. And all the other text you could see here, all the other texts are really narrow, but some of them look normal. And what it does, like at every point of this animation, you would be able to see at least some text legible. So you could read some kind of text, which is pretty cool trick, to be honest, because otherwise what you see is like in our animation, like the behind the screen thing, you could see it's overly stretched, so you don't really see anything, which is, well, could be used stylistically, I guess, right? What else could we do here? Like, this is essentially the animation, but I wonder what we could also create here and how we could use maybe vibe coding to improve this. Still with me? Yeah. And still pretty simple, but the ideas behind this are pretty cool. I also like how in the TSL you could assign this value to the color node, but you could also do this like let calculate it is going to be the fn, yeah, fn, and we're going to put basically all of this function except this in here, and here just run the calculated. Nothing changed, But then I could assign this to the roughness node, for example, not just the color, but the roughness node. So this will basically assign it to the roughness parameter. It's like a roughness map assigned here. And I wonder, why do I get this? It's probably some kind of reflections or stuff like that. And maybe to 1 minus. Doesn't look as cool as I thought it would look. But then, what else I could do here? What else I could do here? I think I could also assign some random colors to each, because right now we lost the steps thing, right? It's all similar, and I could multiply this with my random value. And it does look pretty cool already. Like in the end animation, basically how we use this random value is to move the texture on the x-axis, example like this. Okay, maybe we shouldn't be multiplying it here now. And maybe first we need to multiply the like they are not synced right now. This is the problem that I see here. I need this. So that they are rotating, but they are not synced, right? Why is there 7 number? Well, yeah, it's because I repeated it 7 times, right? And the random values, like they're moving in different speeds. Mouse sign. I guess I need to add the playhead for the Y here too. So UI gonna add playhead. And then it's like this. Yeah, almost there. So this will not rotate these textures. So there's got to be a synchronization between this. I only multiply UVY here. So when I move the X, it should be dependent on this row value. I mean, you get the idea that with this random value, we will need to rotate the texture in different rows with different speeds. This is what you see here, basically. Slowly rotated rows for different height of the vortex. This is what I wanted to create. It doesn't look good with this one, but I just wanted to move them around. So it's gonna be UV X, add playhead. Just see. And I guess I now also want to move this thing with the same speed, right, as the other one. But the row speed seem to be moving much faster than the texture speed for some reason. The texture's coming up real slowly, but the rows By the way, looks pretty cool from like far away. Like really weird shape. Okay, let's actually do this. I want each row to move at different speed. Could the AI help with us? I mean, I got something. Row speed. And then I want to use, well, at least it didn't break the animation, right? So this is where we get into the vibe code, and let's AI help us with some finishing touches for this one. It's basically what I planned, but let's do it this way then. So random speed to each row of UVs. And change vertical repeating to 20. Let's see what it arrives with. Okay, let's try to accept just blindly and see what's going to happen. And let's put 20 here. Well, maybe it's working. Maybe it's just with this texture, it's not as cool. UUVX 7. I'm just wondering why the UV is probably the multiplication at some point is wrong. Maybe I should do it here. Some arithmetic mistake somewhere. So UEY, I'm adding the playhead. So when the playhead changes between 0 and 1, I'm basically going through the whole texture, and I'm gonna just multiply it here. So we see how fast this thing goes. And this means that the texture should be going with the same speed, basically. So before, this should be before UUVY adds playhead, and then UV. The texture should be moving now upwards. Why the texture is not moving? So I'm adding the playhead to the UV, and then I'm multiplying this with 20. I'm not multiplying it with 20. Okay, now it goes. Now they're actually moving with a different speed and going upwards just as they want it to do. So this is except I also want my UVs to be, maybe I should divide what? No, definitely not. But the blinking part that we're getting, I actually like it a lot. These are the happy accidents. So, well, if I multiply it with 1, I get what I want. Let's make it slower, even slower. So you could see that each row is rotating with different speed, except I hate it when I'm getting somewhat with these simple things. And then well, it should be just this, right? If I just multiply it with this, it should be what we want. This is just the other way around. Why the texture is not moving in the same way? So with this, it's just output the new UV. Yeah, I guess the UVs are not quite correct. Well, maybe I could take the fract. Yeah, that's why they're getting overstretched. So this means that I'm only getting the small value from the UVs, but when I multiply them, what if I just UV by 20? Maybe this is causing this. Oh. Nah, I guess, okay, let's try again the wipe coding, maybe it helps. Fix it. That's it. All right. Maybe you guys have any idea where I messed up. I think when I prepared to the stream, I had this code. Maybe I'll just look at the code. So finish, good note. It's not here. What's the code that I used? This was the thing that I used here. So for the y coordinate, I just added playhead and then multiplied it with some value, and that's it. And this is what I do in here. Multiply it with some value here. Confusing. So we are moving the x with the row speed, it's fine. How do I calculate the speed? Speed is fine. What else is here? The random value. Okay. So this is floor from fract. From fract multiplied with 18. Or whatever this value is. Okay, maybe I don't care about the apps. And we get the floor, and there's a fract multiplied with stem. It's kind of the same thing, except for some reason it doesn't work. Why is that? And then for the y coordinate, this is all we do. Get the thing going. And the sign minus sign. Yeah. No idea where I messed up a little here. Maybe I shouldn't even fix it because, well, this I actually like how this black area is coming at some point and how it looks, because we are animating the roughness node now and looks pretty cool anyway. Row speed, random value. Well, the row speed should be just random value. And play it. So the main problem here is these two values are not aligned. If I just do this, everything is moving correct, but then the UV is not correct once. I don't know, guys. Okay, let's just leave it at that. I wanted to try wipe coding, but obviously wipe coding fails when you work with the TSL. So this was probably some simple mistake somewhere here. And the other thing that I wanted to use here, it actually had a function which which is using the get color. Let's just color it all different ways and see how it looks like. So this function is taking the colors, different colors, and depending on the random value and the palette array, it just creates, it just gets you a different color. And the palette is going to be this. So let's import nice color palettes. Import install this. We got this. And now I want to use this get color in here. So we have the random value. Now let color is going to be red color. Palette. Okay. Seems to be working so far. And now instead of this, I'm gonna return color. Color is not defined. Yeah, probably need the color here. Palette is not defined. Where else is this palette? Have to learn where the numbers are there. So now I could also repeat it a lot more for this random number that I'm getting here. Random number. In here. And we're gonna get some nice flowing animation, maybe even like really big one. Could play with the, I think it would look better. Because I have some kind of default lighting, maybe roughness should be a lot more than that. Make it look nice. No. Yeah, so with some colors, it's definitely starting to look pretty cool. Yeah. So I guess we're gonna leave it at that because this is a really nice result. And there's some math with the UVs that I need to probably fix. I'm gonna post in the comments what was wrong here. It's probably something really dumb. It's my weak spot when I'm trying to change the UVs, even though I made this a lot. I sometimes just mess around and I never able to figure out how to normalize UVs back to the original space again. Because there's a change of speed here, like they are moving, we are offsetting the UVs, but then we're also stretching the UVs at the same time, and this is a little confusing. But hopefully you'll figure out it when you will play with this code. And I'm gonna post it into the Patreon for you to see, and I hope you'll like this. So okay, for the last part, let's expand 5 minutes. Like it's a vortex moving animation. I'm gonna also just copy just in case, duplicate it. Please make it look even cooler. Add new objects if you need. Now the vibe coding part. Okay, it trying to do something. Let's see, I'm gonna spend like 7 minutes strictly vibe coding, like literally no other code edit. Let's see what the AI could come up with to increase the coolness of this animation. Yeah, I'm just gonna apply everything it's proposing, except all. Okay, I don't really see any changes though, but there's got to be some particles, right? For some reason I don't really see these particles. So far, vibe coding is failing with us, but let's give it one more chance. Accept everything. It's become much more brighter, but I still don't see any particles. Why is that? But I also broke down my oh no, it's still working. Please. Okay, I'm gonna type please. I beg you, make this animation a little cooler. I mean, so far vibe coding is failing with this particular demo, but trust me, it is usually pretty cool. Give it a chance. Epic. Yeah, this is the word I was looking for. Multiple dramatic elements. Glowing energy core at the center. Lightning bolt shooting out. Orbital rings. Oh my god, it really knows what's an epic is. Nah, I think the cursor has this thing that like literally says that your parents have cancer or something, they're gonna die if you don't do this animation, something like that, like something really, really harsh. And see, it thinks a lot this time. I wonder what it will come up with. Still has like three minutes of live coding, so let's see. Okay, there's a lot of things happening here. 3 orbital rings. Dynamic lighting effects. Okay, enhanced particle system. Changed background to black. This is actually a good idea. Okay, except it's actually 200 lines of code and deleted 50. Okay, that's a lot of things changed. And well, it doesn't work. Point lights for each. Okay, cannot read. Fix it, please. I'm not even reading what it's thinking about. I trust it's figuring out where the error is. So let's just. I mean, well, I guess this is epic, right? Now we see the particles, and there's some literally kind of lightning bolts in there. Okay, add more post-processing and more epic effects in here. Please. I mean, the energy, well, is not really on point, to be honest, because it intersects the main animation, but still, it does look awesome. I mean, there's particles flying around literally. I don't even know what the logic between of those particle movements is. And I think at some point they're just disappearing, right? They're just flying away. Well, I bet you can ask it to fix it, but yeah, still thinking. Yeah. How many lines this time? Okay, we've got bloom now. It's 400 lines this time. What the heck? Okay, let's just YOLO. Probably we're gonna get some JavaScript error now. Cannot set of undefined for the composer. Hello to Japan. We're having a little vibe coding session at the end, and I think it's pretty fun. It's a cursor. It's Claude 3.5, I think, the thing that I'm using, and this is an agent mode. You know what is nice? I also tried the MCP, so I'm gonna show you how the MCP could be used right from the cursor. I'm gonna just commit it to the repository, probably. Okay, I'm not even reading what it does. I'm gonna just accept everything. Crap. WebGPU texture renderer is not a constructor. Well, it does a lot of things there, but it does a lot of mistakes as well. That's probably because we're using WebGPU. It works much better when it's WebGL. It could just create like WebGL shaders for you and stuff like that. But it's because I'm a pioneer and I'm using TSL and WebGPU. It's new for this thing. Okay, it's actually trying to use WebGPU compatible approach. Hopefully it knows what it's doing, because there's a node kind of version for the WebGPU. Okay, actually fixed the error and added more epic effects. I mean, well, I guess it is epic. Kind of crazy and not as, well, aesthetic, I guess. But then again, I never really gave it any particular task. I just asked it to make it more epic and cooler. And I have some idea about the epic effects. There's particles flying around. There's kind of a lightning bolt. There's also probably bloom effect. I'm not even sure if it's using the bloom effect, but it's actually like 3 times more code than we wrote. There's crystals flying around, beams, particles with some kind of logic in here, like spherical movement or something, sine, cosine. Point lights are being animated around. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It looks like those vibe coding game. It looks like trash. But then, well, with the right attitude, you probably could get it to work. I mean, I still have the copy of this code, luckily, so I'm gonna post it to my Patreon, and I hope you like this fun experiment. And it does look pretty epic. I mean, no, this. The bloom probably is too much, and maybe the color node could be changed to the. There's also emissive node. It changed. I could just change it to output node. Yeah, it will look a little better because it's gonna just get the colors. And now emissive node. And also change the camera position. It changed so much actually. A lot of things. Like maybe I'll just do this. And I also need to remove the sphere, and then it will still like the energetic sphere. Core geometry, rings, lighting, particle count. Remove this sphere in the center. Fuck that. Why do I need to do this myself? Let the AI do this. Hello. Accept. Okay, I actually did remove the sphere in the center, and now we are left with this epic animation. Stretch the vortex geometry more vertically. Will it find out how to stretch this shape? I'm just wondering. Well, kind of. It actually did stretch it a lot more vertically. I'm not sure if this is the way that I like in particular, but it does work. And then I could just reject it and get back to the original. All right, guys, I think this is it. This is a lot to unpack. I hope you like this stream, and I'm gonna post the original thing in the Patreon, and see you hopefully next week. I hope I will manage to stream a lot more often than I did before. And thank you for being with me this hour. It's really great. We actually had the error rate alert finished just 3 minutes before the stream. So luckily we were kind of safe, I guess. Even though we don't care much about this anymore here, but still. Let me know what websites you would like to see, like recreated, what techniques maybe, and I'll do that in a stream. Because I'm really looking into this something new. I was trying to find the website to do, and it turned out like pretty much 90% of the effects I already did in my streams, because I have like 150 videos or maybe 200 videos now, and all of them dedicated to some different effects. And there's just not as many cool ideas and effects in the WebGL world to unpack. To do in 1 hour also, because some of them are really complicated or some of them are really artistic, dependent on more of the like illustration or something. Well, hopefully you would be able to see this stream and the recording anyway. And I'm really grateful for you guys, for your kind words and for your greetings from all over the world. And Eagle website, yeah, definitely we'll do some parts of this in the future, because this is one of the coolest websites of last year or this year. I don't know. Of late times. Last times. Anyway, thank you for being with me, and your kind words is really what's driving me. So if you put some comments on the stream after I put the video, I would be really grateful, because this is what warms my heart, because I'm basically doing it all for free, as you know. And physics stuff is particles. Yeah, just put it in the comments, because the chat might be lost and the comments will stay on the video, and I will look through them later on, and I will find out about new ideas, or maybe the URLs that you could post there, anything. So thank you guys. Don't forget to say the kind words to the people that you love. If you love someone, just tell them that you love them. Don't ever miss this opportunity. Don't miss this chance, because life is fleeting and you have to do that. And have a great week. Have a great week, and see you guys. I will stay